Hello there, this is CANWAN Kenan from Kenan Plays, and today we can play part 13 of Sickness. Alright, let's load the game. Alright, next page, she's in next page. Correct, 6, then it's 13. Alright, let's see this. Alright, as I walked towards the kitchen, what awaited me was a sight I sorely needed to see. The sister, Sarah, hi, you're back, early. Today just keeps getting better. Stumbling out of the living room was Sarah, as lively and elated as I ever seen her. As if her tone and demeanor weren't enough, her clothing spoke volume about her mental state. Sarah has always disliked wearing dress and skirt. In fact, it took years before she finally stopped wearing my pants to school and actually tried on a skirt. But when she's this happy, even her unfolded body issues weren't stopping her from showing it off. Good evening, dear sister. You sure seem to be in a good mood, and for that I am eternally grateful. Hearing about my exploits and seeing Marcus' story state shocked me, but if that's what it takes to see Sarah this happy, then I'll do it again in a heartbeat. How could I not be? Did you hear there was an assault near my school earlier today? She found out about that already? Wait, forget about that, she's excited there was an assault? In any case, play along, play dumb. Isn't play along and play dumb the same thing? Play along? Yeah, I saw that on the news earlier. 2 criminals apparently was crippled for life and the other one dead. That's not all. The police found a camcorder of the victim using to tape their crimes. The one who survived is going straight to jail. He'll never be able to hurt anyone ever again. It's a little scary how happily she said that, or so I think. If I didn't know what her encounters with them had been like, I was just a little shaken up when I thought that I killed the 2 of them, and when I learned that I really had killed the younger one, but I'm just sorry I didn't take care of them sooner. Scums like that deserve far worse. Ah, that's great. Did they say what kind of stuff have been recording on the video? Like her attacker's face, for example? No sooner had words left my mouth than Sarah's expression stiffened. Thinking about the crimes they had recorded wasn't enough to put a temporary dampen on her mood. The 2 of them were abducting schoolgirls and... me. Why did I have to go and say that? That's obviously not something Sarah wants to think about. Oh, I see. In that case, the other one probably wouldn't survive for very long. Prisoners don't take kindly to those who prey on underage victims, you know. Hehehe. What's so funny? Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. Thanks for trying to cheer me up. Well, I'd rather have her laughing with me than at me, but whatever works, I guess. That's right. It turns out the police had a girl from the grade beneath me in a protective custody. Apparently, they were worried that the person responsible for the attack would come back and finish her off. That's ridiculous. If I wanted to hurt her, I would have already done so. I think it's stupid. I mean, if the attacker wanted to hurt her, wouldn't they have done so at the time of the attack? Maybe Sarah and I are more alike than I thought. I already found it weird that Sarah was agreeing with the actions of a criminal. Now she's thinking like one too. I can understand the 2 of us share similar thought pattern. We are twins after all, and we lived together our entire life. But when it comes to a topic like crime, honestly, this is the first time I ever seen Sarah get excited over assault and murder. She's always considered them ghastly acts, one which she used to complain about when I so much as watched them on television. So for the same gentle girl to now be happy about death and the cripple of 2 young men, so what kind of a person do you think the attacker was? We'll be discussing it at school since we heard the news. Do you think it was just a coincidence, or was the attacker after the 2 from the beginning? I wish if that was the case, I'll probably have done a better job. I'm not sure. Don't be afraid to be wrong. Come on, what do you think? Was the attacker just another criminal? Was it a vigilante? A vigilante? Now that's an interesting take on the matter. I don't regret my action, not in the slightest, but I don't feel bad about what I did. I can't bring myself to feel particularly good about it either. The branding of a vigilante, however, if people think of my actions as those of a vigilante, then it isn't that confirmation that others sees my action as justified? Well, they didn't find any fingerprints or anything, right? I mean, if the attacker was spontaneous, chances are that they've been caught. I don't think it's just a random criminal. Sarah mucked over my argument for a second before nodding her head in agreement. As expected, my brother arrived at the same conclusion as I did. Phew, glad to hear it. Sometimes I'm really not sure or not. I subscribe to the same reason and logic as everybody else, so it's nice to get confirmation that my conclusion makes sense. So with that being said, what do you think about dinner? Think about what? Dinner? Oh, we have skipped to someone else. Come in. Good evening. Good evening, Sai. Wait, is evening already? Ha! You really should go outside once in a while, you know, big boss. And ruin my perfect complexion? Moving along, I have information that I think you should hear. Have you been watching or reading the news or that? The news? Why would I do that? Half of it is fabrication and the rest is just plain boring. Usually I agree with you, but today, what is it? Let's just say I have my eyes on someone who I think will be perfect for our upcoming operations. Why did they skip to that story? I wonder. As Sarah's fascination with the vigilante at large deepened, and our discussion spent a greater portion of our night than anticipated, Sarah and I soon found ourselves eating dinner while watching a news recap of every event we have been discussing. But as Sarah remained glued on the television, with what intrigued me more was the tale of my violent morning was Sarah's enthusiasm and her uncharacteristic stance in the regards to what had happened. I initially have been worried that my actions and violent degradation would inevitably drive us apart, but should I be exposed? I thought that the sight of me covered in the stranger's blood would sicken my sister, maybe even prompt her to call the police. However, as Sarah unknowingly heard of my exploit, she wholeheartedly agreed with what I did. She had regaled me with baseless rumors she heard at school, her own theories on the matter, and without a doubt made dinner far more lively than usual. Despite the morbid topic, our night was happy and peaceful as possible. The moment she brought up the weakness, I found some solace in the fact that police were knocking on my door. I wasn't naive enough to believe that they had no leads whatsoever. Besides the DNA I left at the scene and the girl being in police custody, they aren't going to just drop the investigation, and yet with such things out of my control, all I can do is wait. As Sarah and I prepared to go to sleep, I asked her a question. Say, Sarah, do you know the weakness from school, right? Not. Do you think you can get more information from her? What do you think I was planning on doing? There's no way I'll leave this alone that easily. I should have known. Finally, ready to accept my reward for a full day of hardship, I laid down without another word. No matter how exhausted I am or how conflicted I feel, there was nothing a good night rest can't cure. Don't worry, I'll keep you posted. Sarah navigated her way from the light switch to our bed, so snuggled in her idolized vigilante. Sweet dreams. Alright, I'm a murderous brother who saved you. Alright, sickness. Part 5. Regression. You know what? We're going to continue this part, and maybe for 10 minutes or so, I'm planning to make it a longer series, as in a longer duration to each part. Alright, let's continue. Wednesday morning, September 21st. The second my conscious mind entered the world of the living, footstep approached my sleeping figure. Good morning, Ohio, Nichan. Wiki wiki, breakfast is ready and your clothes have been ironed. Get them both while they're still warm. 2 for $1. We have an iron? What? Okay, shower check, clothes check, breakfast check. We still got a bit of time left. Oh, I should get started on the preparation for dinner. What? In the morning? And off she goes. Now that Sarah's stalkers has been dealt with, she returns to her usual chipper self. If anything, she's now more lively than ever. Can you turn the TV up? Forget lively, Sarah was never this happy in our old home. Now I can fault her for being happy. The only downright odd behavior she displayed since last night is her newfound fascination with the news. She watched it on and off last night, and today she had it blaring since the moment I woke up. But her obsession isn't all that bad for me, so I had no plans to stop her. On the contrary, I've already begun to make use of it. While I can't approach a weakness or question high school kids, Sarah is free to do both. Better yet, she seems to know the girls and was thus able to tell me all about her. You want to know more about the weakness? I guess it can't be helped. I was impart upon you a portion of my great knowledge. First of all, her name is Lucia Kanye. She's 1 year younger than us, and she's a grade below me at school. Lucia doesn't really have any friends. I don't think many people even know her name until yesterday. Let's see what else. Lucia is very interesting. Above average grades, average looks, below average physical fitness, but get this, her family is well off, but they don't seem to get along. They're actually really ashamed of Lucia. Because of that, they won't let her have any fun. She can't go to birthday parties. She doesn't have a computer. She lives a really boring life. She waits in her room alone, wishing for someone to save her from her fate. Always playing the hopeful loner, seeking companionship, praying for the freedom that others take for granted. Or at least that's Sarah's interpretation of Lucia's situation. Regardless, it doesn't fit my impression of the girl. Lucia seems nice enough. She doesn't sound like the type to brag to her friends about what really happened or hand her savior over to the police. All that's left now is that Sarah confirmed a few of my suspicion, and my mind would be completely at ease. Alright, saying our usual goodbye, Sarah left the house with a skip in her footstep and enough cheer for the both of us. Whether or not my mornings will stay so cheerful, however, is yet to be seen. As happy as I am that Sarah is now shining brighter than ever, the collateral damage wouldn't be too happy to see me. Though Marcus' injury were life-threatening, his ego has been severely bruised and he won't be anywhere as near as intimidating. As a result, I'll be taking the lead today, expecting to commit the violent acts I initially winced upon seeing. I left a short while after Sarah, taking with me Marcus's knives. While I don't really want to take over as a lead collector, the alternative is far less appealing. Either the collections get done, or I wind up in an underground MMA ring. No matter how much Andre has prepared for me, or Andy has prepared me, there's still a fate I want to avoid at all costs. Come to think of it, I seem to be shifting jobs rather rapidly lately. Without realizing, I was a concert into an underground MMA fighter, then an assistant debt collector, and now a lead collector, all in quick succession. Seems like you have been promoted over the time. Hell, chances are it will soon change again. There's no way my position as a lead collector will last very long. But whatever the future holds, all that matters for the time being is that I survive the next 3 hours of my life. My first day as a lead debt collector, and hopefully my last. Waiting in front of the doorstep was Marcus, who shaped up considerably since I last saw him. Unfortunately, his confidence and attitude appear to be among the last stages of his recovery. Morning killer. Well, someone is in a good mood today. What right does he have to call me that anyway? He killed more people on our first collection together than I have in total. Not that usually a discussion I want to have. Why so quiet, killer? Don't you like your new name? It's far better than the old one. What kind of stupid name is Suho anyway? Oi oi oi! It's not like I got to pick it, okay? Our mother named Sarah and our father decided twins have twins named. Apparently our mother flat rejected the other's suggestion, leaving me with the least abnormal name he came up with. Shut up, Bluey. Let's get to work. Or what? Are you afraid to go in without me? Rather than laugh and put his usual act, Marcus continued to stare at me bemusely. I guess he expected a little more out of his false recruit. I trust that you were briefed on our stops for the morning. Yeah, I remember them all. While Marcus was getting patched up, Andy ran a list of names, amount, and address with me. Since having a paper trail was not an option, I needed to commit them all to memory, even with my head muddied from my discouraging morning. Luckily, we only have a few dozen stops to make today. No matter how distracted I am, I should be able to pull it off. Well, what are you waiting for? Let's go. Well, here goes nothing. Enter the room. First up is a restaurant owned by and operated by a Taiwanese man, and it's not the only one on our list for today either. Are Asian compulsive gamblers, or are they just plain bad at gambling? I'm fairly new to this job, yet it seems like a lot of stops I've made have been restaurants owned by middle-aged Asian men. What's more, I get the feeling those are the kind of pointless questions I'll be asking myself a lot today. Okay, Marcus and I remain seated until the only other patron finally presented themselves. As he walked out the door, I followed Marcus. You just lead in. I make my way to the entrance and flip the open sign around, lock the front door, and close the shutter. Sign, not this again. A Thai female. Oi, get in here. Thai male. The waitress called out the next room, summoned forth a mid-aged man with an apparent gambling problem. Don't me. Take a look at what you've done now. The waitress pointed at Marcus and I. I'll handle this. The hell you will. Every time this happened, you brush me aside saying you take care of everything. Then 3 months later, the same thing happened all over again. Look, I'll handle it alright. And I'm saying that if you're capable of doing, we wouldn't be in this situation. The couple began to argue, soon revert to their native tongue, excluding Marcus and I from the conversation. It's like, as soon as I felt awkward for having lost control of the situation so quickly, but soon after that, I felt instead amused. While I've seen many similar exchanges between in-depth parties during my admittedly short criminal career, never had Marcus and I been so blatantly ignored. Swapping language is pretty obvious yet effective tactic. They could be plotting to kill the two of us right now, and I'll be none the wiser. And while I had doubt that's what they're arguing about, I'm sure it would be nice to know what they're saying. Oh well, if I can get a glimpse of any useful information from them, we may as well get to work. Hey! Eyes this way, you bastard. Alright guys, I think it's a good place to stop for this part of sickness, and I'll see you in the next part. Thank you for watching. Alright, goodbye. Whoa. Did you get scared? Well, subscribe to my channel and I promise you'll never get scared again. Or watch more videos and you will be able to find your peace in life.